The day Eleanor Whitmore turned 70 was the day she decided to open the last box in the attic. The sun hadn't risen yet, and Vermont was wrapped in its usual mist, thick and soft like the memories she kept stored in tissue-lined boxes. Her old cottage creaked as she moved barefoot across the wooden floors, coffee cup in hand, her silver-gray cardigan draping past her knees. That attic had been sealed for years, ever since she buried her husband, Raymond. Raymond had died suddenly at 60, the kind of cruel timing that interrupts the rhythm of ordinary life and leaves behind a silence that screams. Eleanor, 50 at the time, had packed away all reminders of him in a frenzied act of survival. Old flannels, vacation postcards, faded concert stubs, and the sky-blue shirt he always wore to paint on Saturdays. She hadn't touched any of it in 20 years. Until this morning. The attic stairs groaned under her steps, and dust swirled in the beam of her flashlight. It was quiet, more than quiet, it was reverent. She sat on the floor, cross-legged like a child, and pulled open the box marked R. Inside was that same shirt. She lifted it gently, the fabric now brittle but still stained with specks of cerulean paint. As she held it close, an unexpected scent rose from it. Not mildew, not dust, but a ghost of the cologne he used to wear. Her throat tightened. And then, under the folded fabric, she saw something else, a letter. Her own handwriting, sealed and addressed to him. She had forgotten. Her fingers trembled as she opened it. The words were familiar and foreign at once. "Dear Ray," it began, "I'm angry you left me. I'm terrified of what life looks like without you." It spoke of her fear, her loneliness, her guilt at surviving. But it ended with something else entirely. "But I will live. And I'll paint again. Because you always believed in my colors." She didn't remember writing it, but she could see the woman who had. That letter became the start of everything. Eleanor didn't just cry that morning, she laughed. For the first time in years, it wasn't bitter. She came down the attic stairs lighter, as if 20 years of silence had finally broken loose. Later that week, she brought out her old easel and set it up by the wide living room window. The canvas was stiff. Her hands hesitated. But then she dipped the brush into blue, the same shade from Raymond's shirt, and dragged the first streak across the canvas. Felt like resurrection. By autumn, her cottage was full of color again. Neighbors passing by would glance through the window and see this older woman, standing tall in front of a canvas, music playing low and her brush dancing in wide arcs. Her daughter visited one afternoon, eyes wide at the change. "You look different," she said. "I remembered who I was," Eleanor replied. She began sending handwritten letters to her grandchildren, each one folded into a painted card. "This one is the color of the sky when your grandfather kissed me in Paris," she wrote in one. Her family began visiting more. Not out of pity but out of curiosity. She had become magnetic again. And yet, some nights were still hard. She'd sit alone at the kitchen table, Raymond's shirt folded beside her, fingertips brushing the buttons, as if to feel time breathe. But the difference now was that the silence no longer haunted her. Saying, Eleanor had not found closure. She had found transformation.